Blondie puts in the group chat, if you have something to say it to my face, and everything that you're saying about me is not even real. How dare you say things about me that's not real? And at the time, I was mad fucking confused. I was like, ooh, what happened? What happened? And my dumbass not knowing that shit was directed towards me. Co-little went from being my friend, you know, seeing what happened. The thing was, like, she saw what happened. She was living through some of these things. She went from, like, you know, just being my friend to, like, switching over to Blondie. I don't know what Blondie said to her. Now even my co-little's against me. So it was my co-little, Blondie, and Redhead. They ran for the higher up position. By this point, they were no longer neos, and they were just like sisters of the sorority, because they went from being fall 18 to fall 19, and also it was their 1 year anniversary. So they ran for higher up positions. My co-little became president, Blondie became vice president, and Redhead, she was in charge of, like, getting us to mixers and stuff. Like, I was, you know, happy for them. I mean, I wouldn't say I was happy for them. I low-key just didn't care because I wasn't gonna be there. But it was nice to see everyone get positions. It was nice to see everyone climb up the ladder. Like, I always liked that stuff. So then after that, I studied abroad, and while I was abroad, this is where, like, things started, like, changing. A lot of my sisters would message me and be like, oh, Blondie said this, Blondie did this, oh, Blondie's trying to steal your little from you. So here's the thing, when I had my little when I was there, Blondie wouldn't even look at her. Blondie didn't look at her. Blondie didn't touch her. I mean, okay, I'm just exaggerating, but, you know, Blondie wouldn't even acknowledge her. And I don't control my little. Let me just get that out there. If my little wanted to talk to her and be her friend, she could, but I did tell my little, like, and my little knew everything. I was like, I don't mess with her, I don't fuck with her, like, she's not my friend. And of course I would be lying deep down if I said I didn't want my little to also, like, not talk to her. But my little, she can do whatever she wants. So my little, like, talked to her, but she didn't talk to her as much as when I was around. But when I went to Brazil, all of a sudden my little and Blondie were best friends, and I made this really cute gift basket for my little. It was like all these, like, Brazilian candies, Brazilian stuff, just a little cute gift basket. Why did my little give half of it to Blondie, and I got, like, a picture and a video of it? That shit hurt my feelings, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, that's not for her, like, don't fucking share. And everyone's like, you know, just sending me these snaps and stuff, like, oh, look at this. And I was just like, I had to act like, okay, like, you know, like I said, you know, if she wants to be friends with her, be friends with her. But, like, why when I'm not there, why when I'm literally in a whole other continent, why are all of a sudden you're talking to my little? Like, why all of a sudden you're BFFs with my little? Like, I find it really strange, because first you took away my co-little from me, and now you're taking, like, my actual little away from me. It was like being rubbed in my face, and I was just not happy. And I also wasn't happy getting these constant messages and snaps from my own sisters, like, show me these things that Blondie was saying about me, or, like, I don't know. It was too much. But I'm really glad I left the country. So I'm in Brazil having the time of my life, and elections were coming up for spring 20, and this was the time I really wanted to run for position. So I wanted to be PM. It was my dream. Like, it was my dream to be PM one day, and it never happened. So I wrote my speech and I shared it with my little, and then I shared my speech with a really good friend of mine in the sorority. And then I also had teacher help me, like, revise my speech and everything. So I ran for this position, I just really want to be PM, and I thought my speech was perfect. I talked about the things I wanted to fix, the things that I thought to me was necessary. Election day comes and it's held on FaceTime for me. Like, I had to FaceTime to give my speech. Guess what? I had to FaceTime. Everything was going through her phone. Guess how that went? There were technical issues, not technical issues like me glitching, but they couldn't hear me. They were having Wi-Fi problems. I kept getting like interrupted during my speech to repeat. It was, oh my gosh. And I didn't get it because I don't know what happened, but I was basically told, like, through text message during the meeting, how Blondie said that I was trying to change a sorority. Like, my speech was too much. My speech was like gonna change the dynamic, and how it would be too radical, like a radical of an idea. Yeah, I didn't get the position. She didn't get the position either because she was also running for PM. But I'm really glad that the sweetest girl ever got the position. I'm really happy it turned out that way. I'm not gonna lie, I was happy that Blondie didn't get, I almost want to say her real name. I don't know, like this close all the time to saying her real name. I'm really glad that, of course, like, guys, I'm not lying to you. Like, I'm very happy that Blondie didn't get the position. I'm sad I didn't get the position, but then I'm so happy that the sweetest girl ever who got the position. And, you know, although I wasn't PM, I was on PC for Spring 20. But then guess what? Blondie and Redhead was also PC for Spring 20. And I was fucking with it. But I was like, I cannot let this shit control me, you know? I can't let this get over me. So for Spring 20, I was PC. Oh, and I forgot to tell you guys, Spring 20, I was house president. House president is basically, you take care of the house. You're in charge of making sure the house is clean, decorate for parties, the meetings are held there. You're like the queen of the house, basically. Cause like, you know, you just, I don't know, it's weird. It's like you make sure you do things, but it's more of like me as house president, I have to tell the Neos to come and like clean the house, basically. But I was in charge of putting up all the paddles on the wall, you know, things like that. So Spring 20, I was house president and I was on PC. Blondie, she became president. She was president of sorority, Blondie, for Spring 20. So when Blondie became president for Spring 20, it was still fall 19. I was still in Brazil. So I was like, fuck. And I was like, no, she's gonna step all over me. Like, this is her moment to shine and bully me. And that's what she did. That's exactly what she did, in a way. Now all that happened. Everyone got their positions for Spring 2020. Which didn't even last that long. Thank God. Thank you, COVID. Thank you, COVID. You really saved me. I'm back from Brazil. I'm back in this bumfuck small town in upstate New York. And I remember we were having our first chapter meeting. We had it on campus. Usually it's at the house, but for some reason we had it on campus this day. And I'll never forget this. Like, we still had 10 minutes left before going in the room. And I was like, okay, like, I'm having a whole FaceTime conversation with my dad. And then Blondie comes up to me in the middle of my FaceTime conversation with my dad, and she was like, so as I'm talking to my dad, right, having a regular conversation, she comes out of nowhere and she's like, puts my phone down. She was like, I just want you to know that there's no bad blood between us. I don't want to argue. Like, I want to be adults about this, and I just don't want to have any more problems. And I was like, okay. And then my dad hung up because it was mad awkward. And I'm just like, I mean, I wish she would have done that differently. I wish, like, she saw I was on the phone. Like, she could have done that at any other moment. But she did it, like, there. And she did it, like, in front of a lot of the sisters. Like, I felt like she was trying to use her position as president to put me down, or like make me feel like, oh, you can't do nothing, like what are you gonna do about it? Almost that type of mentality. So then we go in to have our first chapter meeting, and it was like a bit like awkward, whatever, because it was just the same thing. It was like, you know, the same thing, same rules, welcome back, blah blah blah, what we have planned for the semester. And then she goes on this like weird ass tangent about if there's drama or if there's any problems, like come talk to her or be direct with her. And you know, the semester continues, everything is fine. I'm not gonna lie, like it was just obvious that Blondie's mission was to make me uncomfortable. Blondie's mission, I don't know if she wanted me to just leave the sorority. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what I did. Because guys, like spring 20, like I said in the video, I said earlier, I'm so happy COVID happened, but at the time I was going through a lot. Like the sorority, actually the thing that I loved the most was making me so depressed. Half of the sisters didn't like me, half of the sisters were side-eyeing me. I became like this monster to them, and it was making me really sad. Like sad to the point where I didn't even leave my room. I didn't want to go out. Like I was super depressed. I used to be the life of the party. I was now like not even wanting to do anything because I had someone constantly bringing me down, or like I had like little side comments made about me, and I didn't make as much side comments about Blondie as much as her, redhead, and my co-little did. I only made one side comment, and the thing is, like when I make side comments, that I'm not gonna lie, when I'm like frustrated or upset with you, the things that come out of my mouth, I want to hurt you back. Like as much as you're hurting my feelings, I want to hurt you just as much, because I want you to feel how I feel. Like that is, I guess, one bad character trait that I have, where if you hurt me, I'm going to hurt you back just as much, because I want you to feel that you're making me sad. Like I was getting to the point, I was crying all the time. I was in bed. I didn't want to get up. I wasn't happy in the sorority. I wasn't me. I just really was not me. Like I was genuinely depressed. Like everyone fucking hated me. Like I locked the doors in my room. Like I didn't want no one coming in. I would lie, and people would be like, are you home? Are you home? And I was like, oh, I'm not home, but I was home. It got to the point where like the people that I thought were my friends, like they were so disconnected from me. I felt lonely, and it wasn't a good idea that I was purposely isolating myself. But at the same time, I felt lonely, and it got to the point where I would go to the next town. Like I made a friend that didn't go to the college, and they lived in the town next to where my college is, and it's like a 20-minute bus ride. It got to the point where I would just always go. Like I was always going there because I wanted nothing to do with the school, nothing to do with the campus. Like I don't know, like I just wanted to leave the town. So it was either I was lying, saying that I wasn't home when I was home, and that's an issue because I'm the house president. I'm supposed to let people in the sorority house, but I became so fucking depressed. I was like, no one's coming in. I don't care. Like I really just like blocked off the whole sorority house, and I was being bullied, and my emotions were getting the best of me, and I was letting these people bully me because I didn't want to do anything else. Like I was like, okay, like I feel like if I try to do something, like it's gonna get spin in a different narrative, because people that were my friend were no longer my friend. I was like, I don't know what Blondie's saying to these people, but whatever she's saying is working, because everyone's turning against me. Everyone's like having these second thoughts about me. And so then one day we had a mixer, and we had a mixer with a frat that I really liked. So I was like, okay, like, you know, I'm not happy with myself and everyone in the sorority, but let me go to the mixer. Let me just forget. Let me have fun. Let me talk to the boys and, you know, just have a good time. So we have a rule where you're not supposed to take a picture with you holding a cup and then like Greek letters in the background. It's not allowed. I mean, yeah, it's not allowed. It's a big no-no, because, you know, if word gets out, if Greek alumni sees it, or if the school sees it, they're gonna think, oh, it's like drinking on campus. The school just does not want any of that. So I took a picture. I'm gonna put the picture up if I find it. No, I can't put it up because they're letters and you guys might find out what school I went to and what sorority I rushed. Never mind. I took a picture and, you know, I posted it on my Instagram. My Instagram's private, okay? But I forgot, like I genuinely forgot, or yeah, I don't know if I forgot or I don't know how, but basically every time I post a picture on Instagram, it goes on my Facebook. The picture went on my Facebook, and the next day I wake up and I see a bunch of alumni from the fraternity. They're commenting on the pictures, but it was nothing negative. And they were actually like laughing and commenting how funny the cup I was holding. I don't want to say the cup I was holding because, like I said, if you'll figure things out, then you'll start putting pieces together of where I went to school. I was just holding a cup that is something that's very specific to upstate New York, and people were just like, oh, we've never seen anyone at the mixer with this cup. And I don't know, like the alumni of the fraternity, they thought it was funny, they thought it was great. The current brothers also thought it was funny, they thought it was great. We had chapter the next day, and during chapter it was just like knives were being thrown at me. Like you know, Blondie had regular meetings, and then towards the end she was like, remember, if you're going to take pictures, do not post it on social media. Do not post pictures with you in front of Greek letters holding a cup. You guys know that we can't do that. And the whole time Blondie's giving this speech, like Redhead is just staring me down and looking me up and down. She's like, this is Redhead, she's like, like, I don't know, making these faces at me, and I'm just like, so then like I talked to one of the fraternity brothers, one of my best friends in the fraternity. So I talked to him to apologize, right? At the time, my best friend in the fraternity, he was the president. I talked to him and I was like, oh my god, like I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to post this picture. And I explained the same thing to him. I was like, I didn't know why my Instagram, like when I posted on Instagram, I don't know why I went to Facebook. And then he was like, oh, actually no, you're fine, like we're not angry, it's okay. And then he told me, he was like, yeah, like Blondie messaged me about it, and I told Blondie it wasn't a big deal, like we don't really care, but Blondie was making it a big deal, and Blondie was saying how she's gonna make sure that you understand that it's not okay, like she's gonna make sure to put me in my place and stuff like that. And the funny thing is, she never messaged me to take it down. Never messaged me. Usually, because it's not the first time a sister has done this, and this happens a lot, and it could be like my example, accidental, but usually the president will be like, hey, can you take down last night's photo because XYZ, right? But Blondie never reached out to me. Like I was only told to take it down indirectly during a meeting. And then one day we were having our rush for spring 20, and Blondie pulls me to the side in my own fucking house, and she's like how she wants to make peace and she doesn't want to like argue anymore. She's talking about how she sees that I'm like sad and how like I'm just not me anymore, and you know, she's just trying to do all these things. And my dumbass, I don't know why, but my dumbass, I was like, okay, like, you know what, yes, like I want to be your friend again, like I want to make peace again and all that. Like I said, okay, let's bygone be bygone, because in my head, guys, like I was running on, I don't even know what the fuck I was running on, but I was just like running on nothing. Like I really had no confidence, I had nothing. Like I was starting to believe the things that people were saying about me, and you know, today like half of these things are not true, but I was starting to believe like I am evil, like I am not a good person. So then, you know, she's on some let bygones be bygone, and I told Curly about it. I told Curly and I was like, oh Curly, like Blondie wants to be friends, like she just wants us to get along and stuff like that. And then Blondie was like, oh, you believe her? Like you believe that? Like she's like, don't believe her, like I wouldn't believe her, I wouldn't trust her, and watch, like things are just gonna be the same. Like you guys understand, like this shit was so stressful to me. This shit was so heavy on me. Like even my relationship, my friendship with Curly was like deteriorating because I was lying to my own fucking roommate that I wasn't home. I was locking the door while I was home, and I think my roommate noticed that I wasn't doing good because I was just purposely like always running away. Like even at home I was hiding from my own roommate. So you know, after this news, I told Curly. Curly was like, yeah, no, that's a bad idea. I was talking to teacher about it, Blondie's roommate, and teacher was like, yeah, no, like I wouldn't trust her. And then teacher was also saying how she feels Blondie is on a power trip because even Blondie was making her feel uncomfortable. Even Blondie was, I don't know, overstepping the boundaries when they dormed together. Teacher was saying how Blondie would constantly bring Redhead in and they would be there talking all night long on purpose, not letting teacher sleep. There would be like drugs and alcohol. Well, drugs as an ox. I think oxy's the only thing. Like just oxys and drinking, and she was just like how it's very uncomfortable. And then teacher explained to us how Blondie would talk to an RA when teacher would bring her boyfriend and say that she felt uncomfortable. But this isn't the first time teacher brings her boyfriend. Like teacher's boyfriend always comes to visit, and out of nowhere, like Blondie feels uncomfortable. Like, so Blondie was trying to purposely upset or purposely like, I don't know, destroy. She was purposely trying to just step over teacher as well. And I don't know why. Like, I don't know why. They were really good roommates until the sorority. Like, guys, I don't know. I have questions just like you. Like, I don't know if Redhead played a major role in her changing. Like, I don't know what the fuck happened. Like, she just flipped. Like, she just, I don't know, she cracked. I don't know, like, I don't know what happened. This girl just made teacher so uncomfortable with living in her own room that teacher asked if she can live with us. Like, teacher just slowly started moving everything out. She slowly took everything out of the dorm and she just moved in with us because Blondie was, I don't even know what the hell Blondie was doing at this point, but goddamn. So then we had teacher living with us and yeah, the drama continued, whatever. And yeah, just weirdness happened. So one day, I don't remember, guys, this happened like back in like 2020. It was 3 years ago, but my brain is fried. I don't know. I was talking to one of my sisters who pledged in spring 19, and I'm not sure what happened, but I went on a tangent with her and I was explaining everything that teacher told me about the drugs, the suicide, all of this to the girl, to this pledge. So then, you know, a couple of days passed, a couple of days went by, and out of nowhere, Blondie puts on GroupMe. I don't know if you know what GroupMe is, but it's like this app where you use for school for group chats and stuff like that. Like that's where we had like our sorority group chats on GroupMe. Blondie puts in the group chat, if you have something to say it to my face, and everything that you're saying about me is not even real. How dare you say things about me that's not real? And at the time I was mad fucking confused. I was like, ooh, what happened? What happened? And my dumbass not knowing that shit was directed towards me. And I was like, oh, what is this? Not the president being unprofessional. And yeah, I had no idea who she was talking about. So I was like, I'm talking to Curly, who's she talking about? And Curly's like, she don't know. So me and her were being, so my dumbass really not knowing shit, and I'm like, and I'm texting everyone, like, who is she talking? Who is she talking about? Who is she talking about? And then the girl who I mentioned earlier from spring 19, she was like, Jasmine, I'm sorry. I have to tell you what happened. So the girl, she was at the disability office. Everything I told her, she was telling like a friend in the disability office. And then there was like this third party, apparently like this random girl with like a dog was recorded the Spring 19 girl talking about everything I told her. And I guess the girl with the dog knew Blondie, and she sent the recording to Blondie. Ah! Oh my god, like that is like the only, oh my gosh, that's the only thing I regret, you know? I should have kept my mouth shut, but at the time I was venting. I was just venting. And that just caused more drama between Blondie and I. And then because Blondie was the president, it was also kind of weird. So other older sisters had to step in and intervene because Blondie was just so heated. She wasn't thinking clearly and she was like attacking me through messages. So then we have chapter. Me, Curly, we wanted to have an intervention with Blondie, and Redhead was more than welcome to be in the intervention. The intervention was just to talk about the problem and just to have her, just to talk about the problem with me, the problem with teacher, you know, let's just to talk it all out. All right, but Blondie refused, and Blondie was like, no. And then Blondie was saying how she was having panic attacks and how she didn't want to do this, and she thought like we were gonna beat her up. She thought like we were gonna jump her. I don't know what is this girl's fixation on us hitting her. Like, never. We would never, our intentions are never to fucking touch her. This girl, like, every day thought we were gonna beat her up. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. Oh my god, I was so fucking over it. So that happened. So the intervention didn't happen, and she was just like freaking out. So then out of nowhere, I guess, like I said, I don't know the other half, so these are my assumptions. So I guess Blondie told older sisters in the sorority, like, we were trying to talk to her and stuff, like we were trying to, you know, I guess she said she didn't feel comfortable. So then I guess what they did, they planned to have an intervention with me and Curly during chapter. And me and Curly didn't know this was gonna happen. So we had a regular chapter, right? And then out of nowhere, a sister who was like a president in the past, she was like, okay, Curly and Jasmine, could you guys stay behind and come upstairs? And if you guys refuse to stay behind and talk, there will be consequences. And me and Curly looking at each other like, bitch, like, what do you mean there will be consequences? Me and Curly mad confused. And me and Curly, our little dumbass is like innocently going upstairs, blah, 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 because like, we had no idea. Tell me how, when we get upstairs, we see 3 older sisters plus Blondie plus Redhead. These girls wanted an intervention, but they wanted it on their own time, on their own free will, and they just wanted to take over. They wanted it to be their way. And guys, this shit got heated. When I tell you this shit got fucking heated, there was screaming back and forth. Oh my god. Like, I thought Redhead and Curly were gonna square up. I thought they were gonna fucking fight each other, like this shit. But guys, it's getting dark. I have things to do. I'll leave it for part 3. I hope part 3 is the last part. If not, I don't know. But yeah, see you guys next time. I'll explain the drama later.